Hello, hello. Happy Sunday and welcome back to the UpSet podcast. We're so happy that you tuned in this evening. And when I say we're, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about this awesome crowd we have right here. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hey,
Happy
hey.
Mother's Day.
What's going on?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day Sunday.
That's right. It's a
Indeed.
special day. I love Mother's Day. I think I loved Mother's Day before I was a mother, and
Really?
I just love holidays, I think.
Yeah,
All right.
GP is already giving Mom a break.
That's right.
Yes,
Right.
here with me.
Yeah.
Oh, so sweet.
So how's everybody doing? Like, what was your week like? Can you
Yeah.
remember?
Very
Yeah.
busy for me.
I think we're all kind of in that seasonal change
Yeah, I know.
mental thing.
Well, I can say I drove 1,850 miles in 2 days
Are you serious?
Really?
Wow.
You drive to Alabama.
from Alabama
Wow.
by
Wow.
way of Virginia first.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
Virginia. And then coming back. So maybe 2 and 3.
So to the
You
school.
are a road warrior,
Tuesday to
Marlena.
Friday. That's right.
Wow.
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 I've made those trips. That was that to Huntsville, Oakville?
Yeah,
Oakwood?
yeah, to pick up
Oh,
my
yeah, I
son.
made those trips.
And it's
Do you
just-
enjoy driving on road trips?
I do enjoy. I like driving, but
Mm.
I might say it was really rough this time. I think the devil tried to kill me this time.
Oh no.
I've never been so sleepy in my life after rest.
Mm.
You know?
Mm.
And you know how you fall asleep and you don't know that you're asleep.
That's right.
Oh,
You ever did that before?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Scary.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
try to figure out-
Marlena, don't do that. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah, that-
I agree.
That's really
I agree.
dangerous. Yeah,
but
don't-
Callie, I pulled over and I took a nap.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I did all those things. Like a 2-hour nap. I felt good. I felt strong.
After you,
and then you got
after
back
you
on the
don't-
road and felt sleepy.
Mhm.
After you don't remember the exit.
Look at you, fell
Yeah.
asleep
when
right
it's-
there.
Yeah, that's when it's really
Yeah. Or have another driver, somebody to like tag team with, because it gets rough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to do those marathon runs. I used to be proud of
So
it
did I.
too. Hey, knocked out Oakwood in 16 hours, and but
Yeah, I
by the
didn't go to
time I
Oakwood
got
by
home after all
Oh, okay,
that,
good.
I was like a lead brick.
You remember those days when we were like, you go to sing someplace and you drive all night, get there, and then get dressed, sing your heart out, and drive back, and then go to work. You can't do that after a certain age.
Yeah,
Mm.
I used to do that too. I sang with a choir for 18
Yeah.
years. We traveled all up and down the East Coast. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was fun.
Can't do that. I mean,
The joys
I
of
drove
youth,
down-
right?
yeah, I drove somewhere to speak, and when I got there, I was singing "Nearer My God to Thee." I mean, I felt horrible. I mean, you just can't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
That is true.
That is the reality. That is
You know,
the
one of the news things that kind of got me, and I followed it after a while. That the border
Yeah.
regulations changed
Yeah.
this week, and to see the lines of people wanting to come into this country.
Yes.
Think what you will about why,
right.
but these are precious souls, families,
Yeah.
people just trying to find a better life.
Yeah.
And some of the reporters, interviewed some of them, and literally, I mean, just imagine you're coming over that border with everything you own.
Mhm.
That is it.
Yeah.
Some have money, some don't have money. It's just very sad. I just went into prayer,
Yeah.
for those individuals. Say what you will, but hey, they're precious people that need care.
I
Right.
agree with you, Chuck. I saw one guy being interviewed, and they were saying, so what if you get sent back? And he says that would be a horrible thing. He says,
Mm.
I'd rather come here with nothing than to go
Wow.
back to my country with
Mhm.
something.
Wow.
He thought, we
Wow.
don't know what people are going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
When-
What they're getting away from. Yeah.
And I
There's
do
a-
think that's a major ministry and a focus for our church. I know it would require a lot of financial resources and all, but I think that we should be intentional about at least giving some sanctuary to some
let's go-
families. I mean,
let's
you
go
can't
back.
you can't
Let's go
service
back.
everyone. 1 or 2 families,
Mhm.
if the church could sponsor, just to kind of help them get on their feet. I just feel so bad about that.
There's an organization called Witness at the Border, These are people from all over the country, and their task is to simply bear witness to what's being seen there, and because the obscenity of viewing iniquity is what allows people to become sensitized to it. And we have no idea as to what's going on at these borders, but we do know that politically people are using these human beings as political tokens. A busload of people from the border just arrived in Philadelphia 2 days ago. Under cover of night, Texas governor ships them all over the country. And
Right.
in a certain way, I get it. The whole country should bear the burden of it. But the idea that people would be insulted and angered by other individuals who are coming to this country for the very same reason
That they did.
that you're insulted by it, and you want to belittle people for simply wanting to breathe free air.
And yet in the harbor, the
Yes.
lady stands there and says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free." I mean,
Wow.
we have a nerve.
Not
Let's
to
take the
mention
lady
that.
down. Take the lady down.
I mean, in
Because
the
we're
very
hypocritical.
scriptures that these people quote that talks about treating the stranger with respect and regard,
Yep.
and the depth of compassion that the Old Testament shows towards the stranger,
Yeah.
just amazes me.
Well, I this week I met the other tally, Michael Eric Dyson. And
The other
man, these guys are
It's gonna be
wordsmiths.
cool, man.
Man, these guys are wordsmiths. I just wanted to put out there because I'm still on a high with that. So
nice.
awesome.
Rubbish.
So I met the other tally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good man, Michael Eric Dyson. I've interviewed him several times and worked with him 3 or 4 times. He's very bright, very compassionate guy.
Yeah, I wonder what those conversations sounded like.
I just sat back and said, huh? I pulled out my thesaurus.
But of course, I was going to say you need to have a
My
thesaurus. here,
thesaurus.
but-
If he knows
You know?
more, if he knows more words than
He
you,
does.
the rest
He
of us
does.
would
Yeah.
really be like,
I mean, he
I
does.
don't remember my ABCs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to give a public service announcement. I guess that's what it would be. You know, it's Mother's Day, and want to remind not just all mothers, but all women, make sure you're getting your mammograms. Now, I have to say, and I'm sorry, guys, if this makes you uncomfortable, but mammograms these days are very uncomfortable. I don't know, Marlena, but I had a mammogram this week, and I was sitting there, getting a mammogram. I always think about how there has to be a better way to get these images, because it just, guys, just don't even.
When women talk about these kind of things, the areas of anatomy that you're talking about are, for men, they're pleasurable. I mean, it's like turning an amusement park into boot camp when you guys talk about things this way.
That is a great analogy.
The only thing I hear about what came to my mind was a refrigerator door. I don't know why I keep hearing about it.
Yeah,
That's
it's probably about how it is. Yeah, that type of pressure.
Yeah. But it's better. I mean, it's worth it. That's what I kept telling myself. This is worth it. Of course, it helps to be able to detect any abnormal things that may be happening, and it's better to get it, detected earlier than later. But just wanted to throw that out as a reminder.
Well,
to all of our women.
Tasha, since you made the point there, I did read a couple of articles this week on mammograms, and in some of it, they were now questioning the age in which you should get it. And so, can you comment on that? I mean, I think I read one article that said if you are 50, and you should get mammograms more often, and then they're changing. One country's changing it to 40. So what's the deal with that?
My understanding is 40. At 40, you should start getting them yearly. So
and then know your family history.
Right.
Also know your family history.
Important. If you have a mother, sister, anyone in your lineage that has it, that's you're more susceptible. So you want to make sure you're getting those things done.
Well, my football coach died of breast cancer, and so men have to be aware of it.
That is true.
So I might have to go these grams. And
I wonder what it's like for you guys to get one. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Never mind. But all right. Well, like we said, it's Mother's Day, and we want to say again, Happy Mother's Day to
Yeah.
all of our mothers out there. We see you, we appreciate you, and when we were talking about what are we going to do this year, Mother's Day comes around every year, and you don't want to talk about the same things. We really started just thinking about how many different types of mothers that there are out there. I mean, we came up with about 10, but I'm sure many of you listening will probably add some in the chat, and we invite you to do so. But of course, we always like to share some little stats about mothers or interesting facts. But in the world, I want you guys to guess, how many mothers do you think exist in the world? If you had to throw out
We have a quiz like this before.
A whole lot.
I know. Back in the hood, we had a bunch of them, but that's a different show.
Different context there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No idea. I figure it's a lot. But
500 million.
How many different
More
mothers or
than
different
that.
types of mothers?
how
How
many
many mothers in the world?
are
Just
mothers?
There's mothers in the world.
All right. All right.
Oh, how many mothers? I would
Ellie knows.
say 300 billion. I mean, 3 billion.
Very close, Sally. 2 billion.
2
2
billion.
billion mothers in the world.
It's the world, so it has to be.
World, and 85.4 million of them are in the U.S. So just to bring it down to our context.
84% in the whole world?
Yes. Okay, I have another quick quiz for you. Now, how many babies? What's that?
She thought you said 85% were in the
No,
United States.
85.4 million in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Thank you, Sally. I was like, we're
This one was interesting to me. So, how many babies do you think are born per second?
50
Ooh.
around the world or in America?
Around the world, sorry.
100.
Around the world, probably about 1,400.
Okay.
I'd say a couple hundred. You said per minute?
Per second.
Oh,
per
second.
second.
So I was gonna say, I think we can go down a little bit.
112.
75 per second.
Actually, it's 4.3 babies are born per second. So even in the course of us talking about this, count how many babies. I mean,
The whole world, Tosh?
Yeah, but we're talking about seconds. So every second, 4. So
Like a conveyor belt.
I just thought it would be larger.
That's the Moses Malone birth plan, 454.
No, but just to give us a context of how many people are being celebrated today and how many children.
Can I just pause and encourage somebody, a mother right now? Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Okay.
But some other interesting facts before we kind of talk about some of these mothers is that the average age that a mother gives birth, do you think has gone up or down?
Down.
Up.
Say that again.
Up.
Say that one more time.
Both.
The average age that a mother gives birth, has it gone up or down?
Up.
Ooh.
Sally
It's
said
gone
up.
up.
Down.
It's gone up. Yeah.
Both ways. Both ways.
Yep. It's actually gone up. In 2021, the average woman gave birth for the first time at 27, whereas before in 2011, it was 25. So I think we see that trending.
That's a pandemic. They were all inside.
And women are just waiting later, like even for marriage. I think
Right.
that they're just waiting later. They're not
yeah.
jumping into it as
right.
soon. So motherhood is coming a little later. What about, now I know you guys know the answer to this, the number of children that women have in their lifetime, has it gone up or down?
Down. Come on, they're not even making living rooms anymore. Come on.
I know. When
How
you
about
look at the amount of siblings like that our parents had compared to like what I had,
13,
like,
10.
yeah.
I saw a lady on the commercial. She was like facelift commercial. I don't know, Botox commercial. She's like, I have 8 children. I was like, who still has 8 children now?
Right. I saw that commercial. I was like, wow. Not me, but I mean, hey, it's a
That's
thing.
about
Those who can afford it.
passenger van to go out together.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there in your trivia points? Is there a particular ethnic group that has more children than others?
Very good. Yes. Well,
Mm.
Yeah.
let me see. Let me see if this one breaks down. I see a breakdown of the age by ethnicity, but I don't see, and this is Pew Research, by the way. I don't see it based on the number, but by the age, it looks like whites have their babies older, 28, blacks at 25, Hispanic at 25, actually Asian at 31. So Asians tend to have their
Really?
so yeah, I was like, ooh. And it seems like the American Indian or Alaska natives have theirs even younger, 23.
It's
So
cold up there.
it was interesting to see how this kind of translates. And then one more before we go on. This may or may not be debatable, and GP may be the exception here. It says that according to a 2021 American Time Use Survey, moms spend more time with their children than dads do when their children are young. Would you guys agree with that? Like when they're like young.
You're talking now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to say yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There are a few exceptions, but yeah, I would say for the most part, yes.
Yeah. During the waking hours, mothers are with their children 6 to 7.5 hours a day, while dads spend 5.3 hours. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, not GP.
No.
And that's why I said
Nope.
GP is probably
It's
going
the
to be.
Father's Day award every year.
No, GP,
The
GP is
first,
the
the first four
kangaroo.
words. First 4 words you learn as a father is "Go to your mother." You know.
Yeah, my husband still says that. Go to your mom. Yeah, talk to your mom about that one. All right, so let's talk about some of these moms. I mean, we all know kind of what's on the list. I guess we can start off with the traditional. And when we say traditional, because we need to qualify this, I guess this is a situation where there's a family, a mother, father, children. So the mother has support of another parent and their children in the home. I don't.
Oh, by the way, let me just insert it. Just thought
Yeah.
about this. Those that are listening, sorry, listeners, if you want to give a shout out to your mom, just put
Yes.
it in the chat.
Yeah, shout her out by name.
Mhm.
That reminds me, I was thinking that maybe we could share our mother's names. I don't know if we've done that before, but maybe we can start off by I like to shout out whether they're alive or deceased. We can still speak their names.
Mhm.
I like to shout out my mom, Sally. Hi,
Your mother's
Mom.
name is Sally?
Her name is Sally. Sallie.
I used to read her books when I was in grade school.
I know, right?
Yeah.
She was one of those.
See Sally run.
Yes. Run, Sally, run.
Yeah, exactly.
Did
Well, I
your,
want to
did
give
your
a
mom
shout out to my mother's deceased. Her name was Cora,
Cora.
and to an amazing mother, my wife Carrie.
Cora and Carrie.
Cora is Latin for heart, isn't it, Charles?
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
Corazon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's heart. Yeah, that's
Cora.
beautiful.
Look at that.
My mother left me 7 years ago, and she was just an extraordinary woman. Her name, from the deep south was Willie Mae.
Oh, that was my grandmother's name on my
I
father's
had
side.
an aunt, Willie Mae. Yeah.
Willie Mae.
Willie
Yeah.
Mae. Okay. Love it.
Well, this is my second
Yeah.
Mother's
We
Day
remember.
without my
Wow.
mom, right?
Man, I remember that.
It's
Man. I
tough
remember
as
that.
I speak right now. My mom's name is Christine. I'm saying is because when I see her, I'm gonna call her Mom Christine.
Mm.
Christine, and it's just a pleasure being her daughter. And I throw a shout out to my sister Melody, who is also another excellent mother. We have raised 2 little boys in the past 10 years. It's a 10th anniversary of raising men. 2 young men. They are now 19 and 20. When
All
we
right.
got them, we were 9 and 10. And so
Wow.
Wow, look at
God
that.
bless us.
Congratulations, Marlena.
We're successful after raising them as single women. It was tough. Oh my
Mm.
but we hit a day, and I just wanted to
Love
throw a
that.
shout out to her. Without her, she'll tell you she did more than me, and we're both still standing by the grace of God. So I just wanted to throw a shout out at her.
Love it.
Awesome. I want to give a shout out to my mother, Rosita.
Zita.
Rosita Pierre.
Okay.
And also my wife, Jacqueline, and my sister, who was also a mother, Gracie Pierre. Shout out
Gracie.
to those
Oh,
phenomenal mothers.
so
Man.
that's where your daughter's name, Gracie, came from. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Her middle name is Grace, my daughter.
Very nice.
Uh,
Rosita and Grace.
Well, my mother's name is Gerzel. Her name is Gerzel. Never heard the name before, and there's none before it, none after.
Mm.
My mom's name is Gerzel Graham.
Gerzel.
What a terrific mother. She calls me every single day.
Oh,
I know it's the other brothers too, but I say she calls me every single day. And when I think about my children and how much they have grown and matured, I have to give all shout out to one of the greatest moms, Natalie. One of the greatest moms, Natalie.
Well, you know, I mean, Gazelle, that's a southern deer. Like, look at that gazelle over there. I mean, that's
It's
Valley has
something
all the
from,
origins, man.
it's something from Cuba. My grandfather that I don't know is from Cuba. So something from some mixture there. I'm not sure how that happened.
go ahead, Fidel. I see. you.
Mhm.
Or stars.
I see. you.
Oh, shout out. Well, since you guys are shouting out somebody, I do want to shout out my two sisters. I have two sisters who are moms. Tracy, who's awesome mother to my nephew Solomon, and my sister Myra, who is an awesome mom to my nephew Isaiah. So
Awesome.
Boy, we all getting points today. Keep on going, y'all. Keep
Before
going.
we get back to our programmed show, there are mothers this weekend who are celebrating their children who have graduated from college or high school.
Yes, yes.
So, first of all,
Congrats.
to the mother who feels like the holiday has been swallowed up by the graduation festivities. Sorry.
yes,
Yeah, just celebrate on Monday.
Beaming with pride and has received all that she can receive. Congratulations to you.
and make it long. Celebrate on Monday. Just keep it going.
it's
But
funny.
I'm sure they're so happy of their child's graduation that that's the most important thing to them, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I don't even remember like the year I graduated from Oakwood. I feel like I hope I said Happy Mother's Day. Like it was so much going on. Like it can't easily be swallowed.
Oh,
up.
that was a really good year, 1946.
Good
What?
year. She's looking beautiful for
For you,
that age.
Sally? Oh, okay.
Zing.
No,
Yes.
no. It's funny. It's something about talking about moms that just makes you a little giddy, I think. Well, we were talking about traditional moms. Not to say there's not anything to say about traditional moms. I mean, obviously, many of us may have grown up in that traditional setting where there's mom and dad and children. And one of the things I was thinking about, I guess I'm a traditional mom, in that I have a spouse and I have children. I think one of the things that I was thinking about as a traditional mom that maybe people don't realize, well, people probably do realize this, is that there's a lot of pressure, and this probably exists for all moms. This is not based on it. There's a lot of pressure, and you can tell me this if you feel this, Marlena, in feeling like I have the responsibility of raising a human. Like what I do can determine whether this person is going to be a productive citizen of society or an utter failure. And that didn't hit me as when they were babies. When they were babies, they're cute and I think it hit me when like they were a little older and you started to see some little behaviors like, wait a minute, like, are you gonna be evil? Like they may do something questionable. You're like, did I teach you right? You know what I mean?
Are they going to be evil? Not even good. Not even good. Are they going to be
Obviously,
evil?
there's certain things kids do because they still have to learn right from wrong. But there's this pressure that comes like, wow, like if I don't teach them right now, this could be their path. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I remember those moments.
See Tasha now, Adolf, are you going to be evil?
I'm like, oh my goodness, I have this responsibility to make sure they know that's wrong and this is the right way. And it's like, because people look at the parent. I mean, sometimes look at the mom first to say, who raised you?
Yeah. Well, you have to keep in mind that children are individuals.
Yeah, that's true
They're
too.
individuals. When I first became a parent, I mean, I was petrified. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I had a friend with my sons, I had a friend that I would call. You remember Bill? You remember Jackie
Of
Brooks?
course,
Jackie
absolutely.
Winston? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she's a specialist
She's a
in that
parenting
area.
educator.
So
Yeah.
every time I think about chastising my child or whatever, I feel like do I spank? Do I yell? Do I give him time out? Do I whatever?
Mhm.
And there are times when I've chastised, my child and the reaction was not good. So I called Jack and said, what did I do wrong? Kind of thing. Because you feel like you have to guide them.
Right.
Moms feel like, and moms take it personally.
Yes.
You go to school, you represent this family.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you do something wrong, you just shame the whole family kind of thing.
Mhm. It's true. It's because mothers are the nurturers, and there's a lot of societal pressure that is placed on mothers. Not that there aren't some on fathers, but there's certain ones that almost say it's up to you. Like
Mhm.
the success of your child is on you. And
Some of the best raised children, though, some of them end up being axe murderers, and well, you can't do that. You
and
can't.
that's
Well,
the thing.
I
Right.
guess
It's
we
not
we
because
got
they
to
didn't know
turn.
better; they just chose. Yeah.
Also,
We turn to God, who 1/3 of his children,
Well,
Mm,
well.
good point.
Do that.
But let me give it up here. Attachment theory in
Oh yeah,
psychology,
yeah.
is where a child finds his first bond, and a mother is usually that attachment figure, and they say that without that connection, there'll be no normal social or emotional development developing happening. So and I know we're talking about human beings, but you also see that when it comes to in the lab with monkeys that they have done. I forgot who did the study, but they say without a mother, there's something emotional, something that's missing
Mhm.
socially from there. So I give it up to mothers who stuck it out when they
Mhm.
really, in day and age, really didn't have to. I know
Mhm.
we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit later, adoptive and all that's coming up, but mothers are important.
Yes, they are. So let's start. Because we have quite a few on our list. Let's move now to our single mothers, and single can operate in
All the
different
single ladies, or just some of them?
Oh, single lady.
Well, we see what that pastor's been up
And
to.
God made me a single mother. I mean, it's really, really tough being a single mom. So I really want to give a shout out to all of you who have raised children all by yourself and had to
Mhm.
work, and even when you take everything you have to give them a better life, putting them in Christian education and so many things, it's remarkable of what you have
Mhm.
done. And I just want to shout out to all of you. Thank God for you. I was, like I
Mhm.
said, I was made one 10 years ago. I was like, God, what are we going to do? Thank God my sister and I had pretty good careers where we had money, being single. And so it was easier to do it. But when um your finances are compromised, or there's
Mhm.
more than one, that's very challenging. So
Yep, that
May I
is
insert here?
sure.
Single moms. I want to personally give a shout out to those single moms who are incarcerated.
Mm.
So now you have a double challenge. You are a mom, you are incarcerated. Depending on what facility you're in, you may get to see them, visits that may be allowed. But I'm thinking, I try to put myself in their place.
yeah,
It must be terrible to be separated from your children
it's got to be
in a
tough.
situation like that. So, you know what? I don't know if any of those mothers, or at least relatives of those mothers, uh, just say the UpSet podcast crew remembered you.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's what this is about. Kind of, sometimes we can be narrow focused into our own circumstances and only see things through, the lens in which we live life. But thank you, Charles, for pointing out mothers that we may not even think about that are
We
missing
may
their
not see.
destiny. Yeah.
We don't see them.
Yeah.
And and to moms who don't hear from their children anymore. I've met a few of them, and they're really broken, and they wonder, what did I do that my child never reaches out? Some, were foster parents or adopted parents, and they're really broken. And I just want to shout out to you that you've done the best that you could, even when you made mistakes. I had a friend of mine to tell me that us taking our sons was better than us not taking them, right? It was greater. So whatever mistakes we might have made, it was still greater to give them a home. So I just want to shout that out to some of you ladies. Some I know are churches that I've been at, preached at. And so if you happen to be watching me, God bless you. You've done outstanding, and we acknowledge you on today.
Can I
in
add
that
in?
category, Marlena? There are moms who are left behind by their children in elder care facilities. Once they've been stored away, kids don't come back.
Yeah.
They don't visit. They just maybe pay the bill.
I also wanted to add about those mothers, single mothers, who had to travel. Sometimes they go to find a better life for their children.
Themselves.
And so they leave them behind in order to work
to bring them,
send back, to bring them up. I could imagine, even though they're doing all that they can do, the tremendous guilt they may have. But to appreciate them for saying, I have to leave in order for my children to live a better life. Some people may not see that as a great decision, but I got to give it up to them also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on, Pat. A lot of that. I heard several interviews on the BBC of people who, women that are in distressed areas because of oppression or whatever in other countries.
Right.
And
I'm thinking of the border. We were talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Said that she said that this was a woman who was a professional. She had a great education. She's in the Middle East. And because of what's going on in the Middle East, the Sudan, Syria, just so much upheaval. And they asked her, well, what are you going to do? And she said, well, I'm going to leave. It hurts my heart to leave my family. But I know that if I don't leave my family and prepare another place, I go to prepare another place.
Go ahead.
I thought Tally would have started preaching by now, but go ahead.
No, Chuck had it. I mean,
so that mom, while she hated to leave, she knew that her reasoning for leaving would ultimately help her family and her children.
Yeah. And if I could jump in, so I guess the traditional single mother becomes a single mother by circumstance, but there's a number of single mothers who are single mothers by choice.
Yeah,
true.
Want to be a single parent to their child. They don't want a man. They don't want a partner to help them. And it's their desire to be a mother.
Yeah.
They go to a sperm bank. They may create one with someone else, but they have made a choice to be a mother. And so would you say that is a modern single parent?
Yeah, I definitely think that has trended up. I mean, you have, like we talked about, more women are talking about not wanting to get married at all, but they still have this desire to parent or to be a mother. And so that's an option for them. Some adopt, like you said, some go through the process of insemination. But I mean, I have no issues with that.
I recall when I was pastoring once, one of my members who was single wanted to have a child, and she decided that, she became pregnant and explained to me, because, in those days, if a woman became pregnant, the church would have something to say about it. And she told me, no, this is a test tube pregnancy. I just wanted to have a child. And I understood it. And so 2 years later, when I met her test tube, and I realized, out
of here.
Fool me once.
Up, boy.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, it really happened,
Wow. I did want us to provide some context. There are 10, I guess, and this is in the U.S., 10,889,000 single parent families in the US. 79.5% are headed by single mothers. And then
I'm just going to say that let us not mistakenly think that all of those single
are
parents
yes,
are
there's a
mothers,
percentage of
because I
single
was a single
dads.
parent.
Yeah. 51.4% never married. So, that's 29.3% divorced, and 19.2% were either separated or widowed. So there's a wide gamut. And then we have, like Marlena, which you're kind of a combination of the adoptive and single mom. So that might be a good transition. I know, Marlena, you shared how you all adopted 2 boys. Was it a family member?
No, just a really good friend.
Friends,
And,
yeah.
yeah, she passed suddenly at 49, but she'd always said she wanted us to, raise her boys if anything happened to her. But
Right.
then it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
She
It
left.
did.
She left her boys in good hands.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell, and that's what I was just about to
Thank
say, that I have the opportunity to have one of them that worked for me. He is a gigantic bear. He just I know Marlena be like,
My
you don't
bear
have no.
lost a lot of weight while he
Did he?
was at Oakwood.
Did he really? Well,
Dude is that walking around. Yeah.
No, Marlena, I have to be honest with you. If he is a gem, and a gem, it thinks well, and I don't mean it this way, speaks well, like articulate, speaks well. I mean, he's just an awesome kid. And if that had anything to do with how great your sister raised him, I say that's
I will say that was an us endeavor.
no, I got you. I'm teasing. I just try to get Tally on you. That's all.
Pat, don't become like Talia. I can't take 2 of y'all.
I won't.
But Marlena, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot, what do you think people don't understand about adoptive mothers?
Oh my goodness. It's oh my word. And you don't know what your children have gone through. I mean, for us, we had an idea when our children had just lost their mom.
Right.
So and we got them 9 days later after they found their mother dead, and they couldn't awaken her. And so it's that trauma. And then immediately after, 4 other family members left very quickly, where they were all living in the same apartment building, seeing each other every day, including the grandparents. And so these young children have lost 5 loved ones.
Wow.
We put them in counseling immediately. And one of my sons, I kept him in counseling for years and years, and he just stopped going on his own when he got grown. But the counselor says no adult can take that kind of grief. So for children, they will act out and they won't even know why.
Right.
Surely they did. They acted out. And I was like, what the devil is going on here? It wasn't until I lost my mom that I could feel the pain that they felt. I thought I could understand.
Right.
Because I knew the capacity of pain that I endured. And I was like, that's what my boys were going through. Then I was able to relate. So the thing, you don't know their DNA, you don't know, what their background is. And at 9 and 10, the little characters are already developed,
Yeah.
So you're so much better off when they're little and you kind of shape them. Then my girlfriend was a Christian, but she was sickly and couldn't take them to church all the time. So it was actually us taking them to church every other weekend when we would get them, because my sister was Gerard's godmother. And so later on, his brother started coming. And that's so it was challenging. And we're talking about not having husbands raising boys that are broken, right? We had to depend on the men of the church, our pastor at that time, any help we could get, because it was challenging for us women.
Yeah. I mean, I think with adoptive moms, such as in your case, Marlena, someone passes or in a circumstance, and they ask someone to take. And then we have adoptive moms who adopt they are not able to have their own children naturally,
Mhm.
and they want to add children to the family, and they adopt, whether it's a baby or teenagers, and I guess we can add foster moms. I don't think we put that, but foster
Yeah,
moms
that's right.
in there as well. People who take in children even for a short amount of time, and try to provide them a safe and loving home, even if they have to transition out later for various reasons. So there are those moms too who are doing a lot of that. And we know there's someone in our office who was a foster mom for years, and an adoptive mom, and
Yeah.
I think that helped us all kind of helped me. Let me speak from it. It helped me kind of understand what it's like to have children, like you said, don't necessarily know all the backgrounds, but trying to still help them navigate. My hat goes off to people who are willing to do that in those unpredictable circumstances.
It should be noted that when you have biological children, you still don't know all the backgrounds, because you got some crazy uncles,
Well,
in your own
that
bloodlines. You
Yeah.
look up and realize that you're the third removed from Vlad the Impaler, and you didn't know it. And your children running around stabbing pigeons, and you say, "Nah."
Where to get that
I
from,
mean,
right?
we
Oh,
when it comes
mercy.
down to it, it's all a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get. It's like Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You have that baby, you don't know what kind of chock full of nuts you're going to have
Right.
rising up in that child. And
It's true. They say DNA. Your DNA loads the gun.
yeah, and
But
your
it's
environment pulls the trigger.
Environment.
your environment pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I want to make a mention to those mothers, and again, I think our purpose here is to highlight motherhood or mothers in just about all circumstances. When I think about the immigration situation and moms or families that are living in oppressed and suppressed areas of our world, and even in our country, there's something to be said about a mom who has to keep a family together while being oppressed. One of the first things that oppressed women will do in a society or a country where they don't have freedoms, even as women, one of the first things you want to stay away from is hurting that mom's child. I mean, she can be depressed and oppressed, but do not pass that on to my children. I will protect my children. I'll take a bullet for my children. So these are women that have to really brave up and be protective of a family, especially when there's no dad around. They have to take the weight, so there's a reason to wish them a happy Mother's Day.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They're heroes.
Man.
Now, what about? Now, I don't know the history of this. Maybe you guys can tell me of godmothers. I mean, I know I had a godmother growing up, and I remember being younger and not really understanding what that meant. I mean, my parents like, "Oh, this is your godmother," and I know she gave me like card and
with money in it,
presents, birthdays and all those.
Singular.
And so, when I got older, of course, it was explained to me that some people see it as if something should happen to your parents, this person would be responsible for making sure you live.
Right.
That was my understanding of that. Do people still? I mean, people still do that, right? You still assign.
It's actually a religious thing. I'm not sure if it's Catholicism or not, but it was a serious stance that you have made during christening, or a serious stance that you made, like even now when we invite people to our baby blessings, you're inviting who you consider to be godmother or godfather, but in this case, godmothers is everything to you. And but I think it came from a Christian, some type of early Christian relic or something. Tradition, I believe. But we took it serious. Even now, Catholicism, I mean, your godmother is your mother. If something should happen to you, that is where you would go.
But these days people have like 2, 3, 4 godmothers. I'm like, is this
Mhm.
The one that gives the most
Really?
gifts.
And you're like, that's your godmother. That's your godmother. I'm like, I don't know if it was supposed to be multiple, but okay.
But there's something to be said about godmother, because I think we are experiencing the naturalness of motherhood that women experience and express.
Mm.
So it may not be her child, but someone else's child. And there's just a natural gravitation to someone else's child with the angle of a mom, especially if that female realizes that child's birth mom or original mom
Right.
is not being a mom.
Mm.
So they kind of step in,
Right.
run a little interference.
Yeah, or they may have strengths that the other one lacks. Yeah, I'm a godmom and I love it. I mean,
I called my godmother when I knew my dad was coming home. We did something wrong. I called my godmother.
Soften him up.
Soften. She was there.
Oh,
Wow.
real
She
advocate.
showed up
Okay.
like, not today. Not today. Her name is we called her. We had 2 Aunt Marjories, so her name is Aunt Marjorie with her last name, Aunt Marjorie Rose. That's her name. So anytime we wanted an Atari, y'all don't understand this yet, but ColecoVision, GP, stop it. You weren't even around yet. Ping, all of those things. Those are godmother is the one that she's the one that gave it to us.
Godmother was almost like a secondary grandmother. I mean, my godmother, her name was Marion. I never will forget. Every birthday I'd get a card from her with $1 in it, and then I remember when I realized that I was growing up, because I got a card and I kept shaking that envelope and didn't nothing come out, and I realized, oh dag,
You're on your own now, son.
yeah, like it's over.
Time for you to send her some cards.
Yeah. I remember thinking, I thought that an envelope came automatically with money in it because of what she used to do. But
Can I give a shout out? Can I give a shout out to her real quick that she's in Alzheimer's and she still remembers both of us. Paul and myself.
That's
still
excellent.
remembers.
Wow.
So that's a hard thing. I could call her and she still would, by our voice, remember who we are. So shout out to Aunt Marjorie Rose.
Oh wow, I love that.
I have a question to ask Tasha, and that is, the concept of maleness and femaleness is now coming under scrutiny and dispute in our current age, where gender roles have been kind of mixed. Is the art of mothering, is it failing? I mean, are we? There used to be certain things we associated with being, quote, a mother, but have we gotten to a point where the idea of being a mother is no longer well defined, where
I think that comes from your own experience. Like, because I have such a wonderful mother, my concept of mother comes from her. So I try to emulate what I experienced. That's my understanding of motherhood. Also, how her relationship with her mom and how I saw her mom treat her. And I feel like that's my context. So for me, I guess I'm keeping up those traditional standards, yet I do see, other people around me where it is a little looser now. I wouldn't necessarily say
you are a
failing.
departmental director in a conference where you have administrative responsibilities, plus you're into real estate. Did your mother do all of those things?
No, but she possessed a lot of the qualities.
No, she ain't. No, I tell you, this girl ain't loyal.
But my mom loved to help people. Okay, my mom loved to help people, and she still does. And I feel like a lot of what I do now is translated into the different things that I do, because I also like to help people, but I've just found different ways to do it than maybe she did.
fewer of them. Huh?
Mothering to me is a privilege. Not like, and don't get me wrong, let's not get out of car driving, licensure, all that type of stuff. To have a baby and to adopt a baby, which is the same decision making.
Yeah.
God has,
even more so.
let me just tell you something. You can't surprise God. Okay. The reason why I'm making that statement that you cannot surprise God, because Marlena, God knew that you would be a mother. Okay. In that way. It's the same way when a child is born. I mean, I'm talking about from a mother's womb. God chose that to happen. You can't surprise him. There's nothing that's going to come about without that. And this is the reason why I believe the privilege of being a mother comes from God himself. You know, to be able to say you are, whether we feel the person is responsible or not, God has an earthly guardian and that it's a privilege for you to have. You know, we come to Mother's Day and we just kind of like, okay, to me, it's spiritual. It's bigger than that. Even those who don't believe in God or say they don't believe in God, there's still something inherently privileged, universally privileged to be able to say, that's my son, that's my daughter. It's huge.
And I think too, Pat, even like those who were adopted or put up for adoption and, you know, grow into an adoptive family, maybe not knowing their birth mother, they always say that there's a part of them that feels incomplete and you know, they go searching for the mother and father too, because they feel like it'll answer something, you know, for them. So I agree with you. I think that there's something innate in us that draws us naturally to the person that, you know, nurtured us in the womb and, you know, is, you know, part of our DNA, or we're part of their DNA.
Yeah, but I'm glad we mentioned that the definition of motherhood is ever evolving.
Yeah.
And depending on what was modeled to you, what you're exposed to, what you listen to, who are your influences, you'll follow that, you know, that model of motherhood. So there are some mothers who will tell you that you can never have it all. You must choose between being a mother or being a successful, you know, woman. But there are some women who will tell you, you know, I can balance both, but I need help. But, you know, I think that we never should judge anybody because motherhood is tough, point blank, period. All right.
Yes.
So honor them, respect them, support them. Unless what they're doing is immoral. Like, you know, if a mother is, you know, listen, I create content on OnlyFans and I make millions a month and nobody can tell me nothing because I'm successful. Like, come on. Yes, you can rebuke the mother, but you know, there are mothers who hustle and who go for their dreams and they still are great mothers.
No, that's a good point, because I mean, that working mom versus the stay-at-home mom dynamic, you know, there are a lot of women who feel this guilt or this pressure that I should be home with my children. There are other women who feel that not at all, but recognize that that's not them, but people will shame them for, how could you choose your career over your biggest role in life, which is to raise children. I mean, I've seen some of my friends even go through that, that being torn between having a passion for something, but putting it on hold because there's an expectation that your children come first and not knowing how to create that balance. So in terms of that shift, Tally, if that was what you were referring to earlier, I do see, you know, I don't know the statistics on this in terms of how many women are still staying at home with children. But I do see a lot more working moms than several decades ago. More moms are finding a way to make it work, carving time for their children, but also pursuing who they are. I mean, I think for me as a working mom, I want my children to be women who feel like they can find a way to have it all. And you know what I mean? You can't have it all, but you know, there's a way to contribute to society and share your gifts, but also prioritize your family.
I got a really good question, and I hope somebody can answer it. What will the role of mothering be in heaven? And will there be the role of mother in heaven? I mean, after about 500 years, I'm thinking that she's going to say, listen, you need to stop coming to me and asking me for stuff.
You know, Tally, we have no clue. And you know
No
what?
concept.
One of the things that we, especially as Adventists, have to stop saying is we have to stop saying in heaven.
And the world made new.
Because we're really trying to get things back to Eden type thing. And I don't know what the concept of that is. But you're right. Sometimes I sit around and say, what am I gonna? I mean, is my father? What? Say it again.
I see it as just love. Like
Yeah, but they're different kinds of love, you know. I mean, you treat your husband different from the way you treat your mother.
Yeah. I think it's still that nurturing love, knowing that this is a part of you. I mean, I don't know, I don't see them necessarily having a role in terms of, well, no, I don't know. I still think our
Tally
mothers
done
are better
started.
than
Tally,
them.
couldn't we do this for season 5 or something like that instead of this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that would be interesting to
Because
see how
when
all of
you
our
think
roles
about it,
change. Wow, that's a good
when you
question.
think about it, it is, you know, you've got a situation where supposedly we won't be having children anymore. Um, so people who have never mothered, they may never get an opportunity. And will there be a role? I mean, for mothering will the sacred role of the mother be obsolete in the world made new?
Well, we'll find out, and we'll
Yeah,
report back on the
that's right.
We'll let
That's
you know
right.
when
in
you
heaven.
get
Wait,
there.
wait a minute. GP just put me in hell. He said we'll find out and we'll
We'll let
report
you
back
know
to
down
you.
there.
We'll find out on the upset in heaven.
He said, GP said we'll call you on the hotline.
He
It-
said,
it's
"Hey,
a,
Marley, down
it,
there,
it is
down
it is
there."
it is a deep question.
Yeah.
It is a deep question, and you know that's the reason why we got to get there.
Yeah.
Instead of instead of us trying to figure out where the roles are going to be later on, I believe biblically God has given. I mean, the Bible has given so much encouragement over mothers that even all of us could learn from the roles of what mothers can do. And if I can attribute it any way to the Godhead, I'm going to do so without watering down who God is. Mothers to me is powerful. Instead of saying that she's a mother, so she's just caring. No, she's a mother, so she's powerful. Right. I mean, the one thing that they always say, if you see a little bear around,
Yeah, look out.
Mm-hmm. That mama bear.
don't go petting a little bear because you know it's cute. Mom is around somewhere. So even though we look at them as that type of caring and cuddling, think of the power behind a mother who takes care of their children. And that's how I see God. Tally just put me in some thought process that
No,
when we get to the great green room, we'll talk about it, Tally.
no, honestly, because I tell my children all the time, one of my biggest priorities is for you guys to have a relationship with Jesus Christ and to make it to heaven. So I feel like when I get to heaven, I'm like, hey, you made it, like I'm gonna feel like I've done what I was supposed to do as a mom and we're good,
Don't let
What do you
GP tell
think
you.
our
He might put you
society
somewhere
says?
else.
Yeah, that's right.
What do
GP
you
might
think?
send back down to find out where
Yeah.
we are.
What do you think about our society in certain societies, mostly in Western countries, where we make what could be perceived as a derogatory comment? Oh, he's a mommy's boy, or he's mothered. Don't mother him so much. You ever hear those?
Yeah, I remember I told
Mhm.
my husband that we were dating. No, I said to him, I don't know what the context was, but I teased him about it now. I said, I can't marry no mama's boy. I forgot what it was, but I think it was one of
Said
What
the
does that
daddy's
mean?
girl. But go ahead, please continue.
I know I
Yeah,
am a daddy's
unpack
girl.
that.
Yeah.
Unpack that.
I think when I was saying it, I don't remember what it was, but I think he was making a choice based on what his mother would say or what his mother thought. And I'm like, you're an adult. Like,
Mm.
why are you why are you thinking about mommy right now? Like,
Mm.
and so, I mean, of course, it was a joke at that time, but I teased him.
Andre?
He has a very he has a very close relationship with his mom, and I love it. I mean, I don't, I think it's
Mhm.
great because they say the way that men treat their mothers is an indication of how they treat you. So I love it, but I think sometimes when that expression is shared, it's almost when the man can't operate outside of his mother, I think is what, you know what I mean? Like he's almost on like a little bit of a puppet string.
Yeah. So
I
there are
hear a bit of competition there, but go ahead, please continue.
no, but I mean there are some mothers who are helicopter moms.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They love to hover over their children no matter how old they are.
Sure.
So I believe balance is important. There are some mothers who are mowers, like they're not just going to hover, but they're going to get down and pave the way for you, clear the path.
Sure.
No matter how old you are. Yes, some boundaries do matter, but at the end of the day, you know that your mother always cares, always loves, and is always there for you, no matter what or how old you are. So
when you are starting a relationship, say you bring your new relationship home to meet the parents, does one look for the approval of mom more than dad?
Yes.
Like if mom approves,
Yes.
oh, he's a wonderful guy, or she's just a wonderful. Okay, does that check the box? And regardless of what dad says,
It doesn't
'cause
matter what
mom could
dad
say,
says.
Yep.
he's a
Mom.
wonderful guy, and dad could say, the guy's a snake. Can't you see that?
Can't you see it?
Yeah.
They're gonna go by
Yeah.
what mom says. Either
You
way.
know, the horrible thing is, as a father, you know, you go out there with your son and you teach him how to catch the ball and teach him how to run. You throw the football at him. You shovel the snow so that he can shoot the baskets. You go out and to every game and you watch him and you buy him important sneakers and you take him to camp, and then he gets on TV and scores the winning touchdown, and all he says is, "Hi, Mom." Just such an insult. You know.
Oh, mercy. Well, no, this is fun. I'm sorry I got
So
distracted thinking about moms.
before you go on, did you hear of that soccer player? His wife filed for a divorce.
Yes.
And
yes.
he put all of his assets in his mother's name. And
Yeah.
so so it was just funny. It was like, wow.
When they got divorced, she didn't get anything. She thought she was gonna make
So this
out.
lady thought she was gonna come up, but like, nope, I don't have nothing.
Security.
Jackie.
Sally making a whole bunch of calls today.
I'll tell you.
But it's the security of mother. It's the security of it. I feel, you know, for those of us here, you know, Chuck, Marlena, especially Tally, who do not have a mom, it's a great feel. Whose mom has passed. It's a great feeling for me to press the code on my mom's garage door and just simply walk in and to see her.
Enjoy that while
it's a different thing. It's not a no fault place to be, but it's a secure place to be in spite of. I pray to have her more years to come. You know, we were there when Marlena lost her mom. I mean, Marlena, that's something I don't ever want to hear again in my ears. But we still pray for those who can still live on the memory of what good you've had with your mom. I just want to say that I still look at motherhood as powerful. I do.
Yeah, I want to share on the heels of Pat. Whenever I'm with my mom, I feel like I've been reset and renewed and recharged. Like just going home and just seeing her, I'm just like, wow. I'm just so inspired and grateful. So if you have your mother in your life, or if you don't talk to her, reach out to her.
Yes.
Because you don't know how much longer you have.
That's right.
I'm glad you mentioned that, GP. What were you gonna say?
Have you noticed in some of our, you know, social, what's the right word? Our negative social experiences when, like George Floyd and others who have been oppressed by police, they have always been quoted as asking for their moms.
Undercover.
That's consistent. I have seen that time and time again. When they feel they're in the darkest hour or darkest danger, they call for mom.
Yep.
An undercover police officer that I know said that he has seen several people die after being shot. He says every one of them called for their mother. I can recall when my life, when the wheels came off, and in the mid '90s, and I took a leave from pastoring after the Germantown Church had been built. My marriage ended. I remember for the first time in life, I developed insomnia. I couldn't sleep. And I remember I went back to my mom's house, to the little room where I grew up on Gratz Street. And for the first time, I slept like a baby because I was at my mom's house. And,
exactly.
You know, it is.
I had a similar experience.
You
I had a similar
too?
experience. You know, I had, you know, marital issues and first run,
Yeah.
and I had to move out of an apartment. And I called my mother. I said, I got all my stuff. She said, don't worry about it, baby. Just bring it here. I
Yeah.
brought,
That's
and I mean, I brought all my stuff. I had an instrument. I had an organ. I said, Mom, are you sure? I mean, I got all this stuff. We packed the house. I mean, we could barely walk around the house because my stuff was there. My mom did not make I didn't hear a peep from her. Now, my dad was different. But my mom would say, and what, something about moms will go in command and control. Dad may say, yeah, but he needs to find another place. Mom will say, excuse me.
Yep.
That's my son. All right. So if I say, and I used to love, it's like holding on to mom's leg when you're little, right? I just get behind mom and like, yeah, that's right. Get him.
Yeah, it's
what it is. It's always nice when they come, and then when they bring their stuff, though, I'm talking about that stuff. Their stuff.
Marlena's like,
you can't do that here. Oh no,
Well, you know
Like,
what?
get you some storage,
I at a point in my life, I had no money. I had no place to take my things, and I didn't have to convince I didn't have to beg, convince. She would just like, she took that pressure off of me immediately.
Yeah.
I didn't have to commit. Oh, please, can I? No, she said, no, honey, get that little truck and bring your stuff here.
Mothers aren't. My mother, who had been an orphan, and I didn't realize it until, because she never talked about it, I didn't realize it until I was far into adulthood. I can remember the day she died. Just that exquisite moment. I'm standing there, and the place where I would meet her, and the only place that I could connect with her body was still there, but my mother was gone. And I remember just the cosmic dislocation that occurred where, it's like going by a house where a family used to live, where you used to go in and have meals, but the family has moved, but the house is still there. But like Jesus once said, your house is left unto you desolate. And I was holding my mother's hand, but my mother wasn't there anymore. And I remember trying to work it through in my own mind what was actually happening and how long it took for me to work through that sense of dislocation, and how I had to teach my heart and my mind to hold on to the best parts of someone who had already gone, and all I had left was the container that held them. That was exquisite. It was exquisite, and I'll never forget it. And it, in remembering it, I'm not sad. It's just, it's exquisite. It's
Well, in my closing comment, I just want to say to everyone that's listening and viewing, be intentional today about reaching out to your mom.
Indeed, yeah.
And if your mom has passed, reach out to another mom.
Yeah.
That's important. And in fact, it's quite amazing, because I've heard from other mothers who have gotten well wishes from young people that weren't their kids.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But they realized they were a great mom and they reached out. So this is the day. Celebrate it.
Yeah.
And I want to piggyback on Chuck to forgive. If there has been some type of severed relationship, forgive your mother, because I'm telling you, when your mom is no longer there, the guilt of not reaching out and being in contact with her will eat you alive, and you will miss the opportunities that you had to be reunited with your family. I mean, just, let family be greater than any issue in your life, that you can forgive and be reconnected. And I just want to share that.
Yes. Thank you. That's important. Like everyone has already said, be intentional this Mother's Day. I mean, we know it's still late. It's late in the day when you're seeing or hearing this, but it's never too late to reach out to a mom, and we invite you to do that. I do have this poem I wanted to read. Mother's Day is always the time when you pull out poems, and I think we've all indicated that we definitely believe God knew what he was doing when he made motherhood, and this poem actually refers to them as angels. It says, there are angels God puts on this earth who care for us and guide us. You can feel their love and gentleness as they walk through life beside us. They do great things for us every day. They whisper in our ears. They even hold us in their hearts when we are filled with all our fears. They are always there to give a hug and try to make us smile. They treat us with respect and love. They treat us like their child. God blessed me with an angel I'm proud to call my own. She's been with me throughout my life, been with me as I've grown. She's guided me the best she can. She's taught me like no other. And I'm thankful I'm the blessed one who gets to call her mother. So I just like to once again dedicate that to my mom, Sally Betts. Love you. Thanks for being an
Sally.
awesome mom.
Go ahead, Sally.
Moms out there. Thank you for taking that role seriously and being a blessing.
Did your mom ever drive a Mustang?
Nope, not Mustang Sally. No, I didn't.
Okay. Just throw that out.
Bill.
Throw it out there. It's all right,
I'm
Mom.
surprised you didn't ask if she was long and tall.
You should have heard it all by now, you know.
Oh, that was so good.
Oh man, why don't we look at our merch before this goes downhill?
Oh yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for the reminder. Thank you for all of those who have purchased. You can go right on our site. It's probably the easiest way. Visit aec.org/upset. We're getting our first installment, guys, from those. The check is on the way, so we'll be able to bless someone very soon. We want to do that live so that our audience can bless. I was really thinking about, since we haven't
Always
gotten
wants
any,
to be someone. Go ahead.
we haven't gotten any specific names in yet. We haven't gotten any suggestions, but we were talking about this being graduation season, and I was thinking about so many of those students who need just a little bit to get over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that might be an option for us to consider for our first.
Most definitely. Yeah.
That'd be great.
So if you know someone or a situation or a student or a school that is in need of some assistance, now, we're starting off small, but just needs a little bit to get over that hump. Let us know. Email us at upset@aecsda.com, and we'll see if we can use our first set of funds to help out a worthy student.
And you know what? Let me just add, might as well go for it, right? There might be someone out there who's willing to match
Put it out there.
what we have received to double the amount for the award or reward, however we characterize it. So if there's someone out there that says, hey, if you've raised $500 or $1,000, I'll double it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tally. Do it, buddy.
I'm gonna say, if we only got $7.86, I'm ready to match it right now.
We have about 450. We have about 450 right now. So
And I'm praying for that person to come along.
You never know.
That's excellent, though. That's really excellent.
That's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we want to say enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. We'll see you back here next Sunday. I'm not going to even say it today.
Because
if
if
it's
Sunday,
You gotta say it.
Okay. Because if it's Sunday,
It feels a lot like Friday.
it's the Upset Podcast. Come on,
all right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great one.
All right, guys. Bless
Take
you.
care, everybody. As James Brown would say, you got to have a mother for me.
yeah.